One of the most beautiful qualities of true friendship is to understand and to be understood. Seneca. I don't like that man. I must get to know him better. Abraham Lincoln. Many people will walk in and out of your life, but only true friends will leave footprints in your heart. Eleanor Roosevelt. Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water in a cup, it becomes the cup, you put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle, you put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend. Bruce Lee. An eye for an eye only ends up making the whole world blind. Mahatma Gandhi. Some people go to priests. Others to poetry. I to my friends. Virginia Woolf. The best way to keep one's word is not to give it. Napoleon Bonaparte. Charm is a way of getting the answer yes without having asked any clear question. Albert Camus. Love, friendship and respect do not unite people as much as a common hatred for something. Anton Chekhov. People won't have time for you if you're always angry or complaining. Stephen Hawking. Solitude is fine, but you need someone to tell you that solitude is fine. Honoré de Balzac. There can be no friendship without confidence, and no confidence without integrity. Samuel Johnson. When a true genius appears in this world, you may know him by this sign, that the dunces are all in confederacy against him. Jonathan Swift. One can survive everything, nowadays, except death, and live down everything except a good reputation. Oscar Wilde. It is better to be deceived by one's friends than to deceive them. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Good friends, good books, and a sleepy conscience, this is the ideal life. Mark Twain. My best friend is the one who brings out the best in me. Henry Ford. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Muhammad Ali. Everybody likes a compliment. Abraham Lincoln. The things most people want to know about are usually none of their business. George Bernard Shaw. Judge of a man by his questions rather than by his answers. Voltaire. We often give our enemies the means for our own destruction. Aesop. The worst solitude is to have no real friendships. Francis Bacon. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. Mahatma Gandhi. The liar's punishment is not in the least that he is not believed, but that he cannot believe anyone else. George Bernard Shaw. The only way to have a friend is to be one. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Man is least himself when he talks in his own person. Give him a mask, and he will tell you the truth. Oscar Wilde. Politeness is to human nature what warmth is to wax. Arthur Schopenhauer. Friends have all things in common. Plato. Tact is the knack of making a point without making an enemy. Isaac Newton. The best revenge is massive success. Frank Sinatra. Tact is the ability to describe others as they see themselves. Abraham Lincoln. We sometimes encounter people, even perfect strangers, who begin to interest us at first sight, somehow suddenly, all at once, before a word has been spoken. Fyodor Dostoevsky. My mother had a great deal of trouble with me, but I think she enjoyed it. Mark Twain. You have enemies? Good. That means you've stood up for something, sometime in your life. Winston Churchill. Don't walk behind me, I may not lead. Don't walk in front of me, I may not follow. Just walk beside me and be my friend. Albert Camus. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Carl Jung. Dogs never bite me. Just humans. Marilyn Monroe. If you have an apple and I have an apple and we exchange apples, then you and I will still each have one apple. But if you have an idea and I have an idea and we exchange these ideas, then each of us will have two ideas. George Bernard Shaw. Only enemies speak the truth, friends and lovers lie endlessly, caught in the web of duty. Stephen King. I don't need a friend who changes when I change and who nods when I nod, my shadow does that much better. Plutarch. Friendship is the only cement that will ever hold the world together. Woodrow Wilson. A wall is a hell of a lot better than a war. John F. Kennedy. When you are content to be simply yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you. Lao Tzu. Opposition is true friendship. William Blake. Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends? Abraham Lincoln. A question that sometimes drives me hazy, am I or are the others crazy? Albert Einstein. Civilization began the first time an angry person cast a word instead of a rock. Sigmund Freud. You must trust and believe in people or life becomes impossible. Anton Chekhov. Everyone should be respected as an individual, but no one idolized. Albert Einstein. A friend is one soul abiding in two bodies. Diogenes. Walking with a friend in the dark is better than walking alone in the light. Helen Keller. All happy families resemble one another, each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Leo Tolstoy. Cannibals prefer those who have no spines. Stanislaw Lem. The man of knowledge must be able not only to love his enemies but also to hate his friends. Friedrich Nietzsche. A friend is a gift you give yourself. Robert Louis Stevenson. One loyal friend is worth 10,000 relatives. Euripides. Nobody can hurt me without my permission. Mahatma Gandhi. A little sincerity is a dangerous thing, and a great deal of it is absolutely fatal. Oscar Wilde. There are no strangers here, only friends you haven't yet met. William Butler Yeats. Silence is the most perfect expression of scorn. George Bernard Shaw. Knowledge will give you power, but character respect. Bruce Lee. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Carl Jung. A wise man can learn more from a foolish question than a fool can learn from a wise answer. Bruce Lee. To know oneself is to study oneself in action with another person. Bruce Lee. The quickest way of ending a war is to lose it. George Orwell. When the debate is over, slander becomes the tool of the loser. Socrates. True friends stab you in the front. Oscar Wilde. Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. Napoleon Bonaparte. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. Albert Einstein. All the treasures of the earth can't replace a good friend. Voltaire. It is dangerous to be sincere unless you are also stupid. George Bernard Shaw. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. Mark Twain. Love is blind, friendship closes its eyes. Friedrich Nietzsche. He who does not punish evil commands that it be done. Leonardo da Vinci. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Bruce Lee. Always forgive your enemies, nothing annoys them so much. Oscar Wilde. No man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. Abraham Lincoln. You must not fight too often with one enemy, or you will teach him all your art of war. Napoleon Bonaparte. War does not determine who is right, only who is left. Bertrand Russell. We forfeit 3/4 of ourselves in order to be like other people. Arthur Schopenhauer. You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. Dale Carnegie. Grown-ups never understand anything for themselves, and it is tiresome for children to be always and forever explaining things to them. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Ambition is the last refuge of the failure. Oscar Wilde. Every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. Oscar Wilde. America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. Abraham Lincoln. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Martin Luther King. Morality is simply the attitude we adopt towards people whom we personally dislike. Oscar Wilde. Friendship consists in forgetting what one gives and remembering what one receives. Alexander Dumas. It's the friends you can call up at 4 a.m. that matter. Marlene Dietrich. The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. Mahatma Gandhi. He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster. When you gaze long into the abyss also gazes into you. Friedrich Wilhelm Nietzsche. A man's friendships are one of the best measures of his worth. Charles Darwin. My best friend is the one who brings out the best in me. Henry Ford. I cannot teach anybody anything, I can only make them think. Socrates. You cannot shake hands with a clenched fist. Mahatma Gandhi. It's better to hang out with people better than you. Pick out associates whose behavior is better than yours and you'll drift in that direction. Warren Buffett. The hottest places in hell are reserved for those who, in times of great moral crisis, maintain their neutrality. Dante Alighieri. Forgive your enemies, but never forget their names. John F. Kennedy. A friend is someone who knows all about you and still loves you. Elbert Hubbard.